build more schools, less jails. Build more schools, less jails. And we walk around everywhere. Build more schools. We protest. Build more schools, less jails. Put money into education, not prisons. There's a fundamental problem with that approach, in my opinion. Build more.
Oh my, welcome to a special edition of the Jaybefaunt channel. I am your host, Jaybefaunt. It's so good to see all of you here on this Saturday afternoon. Come on in, have a seat. I am so glad to have you with me. The Jaybefaunt channel is also available on Revolutionary Blackout Network. I mean, you guys can find me also on Revolutionary Blackout Network, and you can see me there on the sort of Savvy and JB show every single Thursday at 5 p.m. and typically on Sundays at 1 p.m. for the JB show. But here you can find me here every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good to have all of you here with me. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe and all the deliciousness. We're going to have a great conversation today. I am so excited to talk to all of you about this very interesting subject that has happened over the last couple of days. Also, if you guys have not, you guys can join my Substack to get on the email list at jaybefaunt.substack.com. This gives you email notifications whenever I go live, upload clips, or write any articles. So you guys have that there as well. Oh, baby, is going to be a good one. Oh, by the way, I'm just letting y'all know I'm in a good mood because I got my tea, and it is hot. Oh, we're going to be talking about some tea today, baby. And if you guys have not noticed, I said on RBN that I wasn't going to be doing any streams for about a week. But I had to get on this one. Because the tea is hot. Let's get into some of the comments to say hello first, and then we'll get into it. Oh, by the way, look, take the poll. Take the poll now, and then I'll read the poll later. All right. I'm not going to make that joke, but go ahead and take the poll because it's going to be interesting when we start talking about it. And the reason why I started off with Kamala Harris saying what she said about, basically mocking the build more schools, less jails. It's like, is it any wonder why she lost? Let's get into this, y'all. So first off, we have Janice coming in hot. Janice says they proved they were completely out of touch and their viewers just reached their limits. Hopefully they'll question the validity of others' BS they pushed and start to view legit left channels they've smeared or refuse to acknowledge. Let's talk about that too, because remember when RBN made it to the Mediaite article and the only two legitimately leftist channels that they actually put on in the Mediaite article were RBN and Lee Camp. And Kyle Kulinski wouldn't even dare say our name. Wouldn't even dare utter our name. You saw him look, and then he just went over it because he knew exactly who we were. And these guys that I'm going to be talking about, they know exactly who we are too. All right. We have Kim Aboya Acosta. Oh, hey, good to see you. Nice to have you in here. All right, good to see you. We have Robin coming in with the handprints. Good to see you in here as well. CBC Voter says, happy Saturday, JB. CBC Voter, you always be in my chats, always lighting up the day. Thank you so very much. Good to see you in here. Yes, yay to you. Yay to you. All right, Kate Mack says, hey, JB, I knew you wouldn't be able to take the whole week off. You're just too darn dedicated, and that's why I love you. Dedicated or obsessive? Because, Kate, you give me way too much credit, baby. You give me way too much because, I don't know, maybe I'm a little obsessed with my job. What the hell is inside this tea? I don't know. I'm in a good mood, y'all. Y'all got me in a good mood. Bobby coming in. All right. Yes, Bobby with the dabs up in here. All right. Good to see you. We have Bernard, Bernie Sandys, Malloy said, it's been a while since I caught JB live. Good to see you as well. All right, we got Tia Wheeler coming in saying, yo, live long and prosper. Live long and prosper to you, Tia Wheeler. Shout out to all of the Trekkies out there. Look, I got nothing but love for y'all. I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm going to tell you right now, I got love for my Trekkies. Oh, the biggest Trekkie that I know, Brianna Joy Gray. I see you. I see you. All right. She's a huge Trekkie, which is, you know what? And here's the thing. I think, oh my God, Gene Roddenberry, who created Star Trek. When you think about Star Trek, it really is a futuristic, post-capitalist, anti-capitalist future that he had created. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that seems like a more of a bright future than we ever would have, you know? Oh yeah, Tia, you said you wanted to pick two things from the poll. Me too, actually. I said that to myself. Travis Wolf says, need to allow everyone comment in the chat, Care Bear. Yes, yes. Good to see you. KD Lewis, my brother from another mother, says, who would have thought a Republican couldn't beat Trump? If he could beat all those other Republicans during the primary, he could beat Kamala. Yup, I said it. All right. Yes, good to see you too. La Senora Chemanik says, Latinos who voted Trump are an embarrassment. They think they are white and ain't. I'm going to tell you something from a Black perspective. And just hear me out here, okay? Latinos who voted for Trump are not that much different from Latinos who voted for Biden or Harris. Now, here's the thing. Because Latinos who voted for Trump are willing to make a deal with the devil for certain rights. Just like Latinos for Harris were willing to make a deal with the devil for certain rights. I say this also to my Black Americans. Either or, either way you go. That's a tough conversation to have, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you were willing to vote for either of the two red or blue, essentially fascist candidates, you were willing to vote for, I get this person, even though they're horrible, I get some of these rights. Or I vote for this person, even though they're horrible, I get some of these rights. You were willing to make a deal with the devil on either side. And it wasn't even either side. They were both on the same side. You guys just, in your brain, thought they're both different. When in reality, when you look at the actual policies, they're virtually the same. Both deeply devoted to Israel, right? And Zionism. Both wanted to continue to build the wall. By the way, the wall was, the starting of the wall being built was, you know, Obama. The kids in cages that actually started off with Obama and continued under Biden and under Trump, right? Throwing basically marginalized groups under the bus. Both do that, right? Both have walked away or never even considered really universal health care. There's so many overlaps between them to the point where y'all were essentially voting for the same candidate, except for one wanted to wave a rainbow flag and the other one didn't. You know, so my thing is like, I see both of them as the same. And I know that's not what some people were looking for here. But the thing is like when you look deep down at the policies, when you look deep down at who they're funded by, because remember what Butch Ware said, who funds you runs you. They were both being ran by the same boss. That's a tough conversation to have, but I think it's a much needed conversation. I'm saving this for later, Janice. Janice, I'm saving that for later because we got to get back to that. I'm not reading it. I'm going to read it later, but stay there. All right. See, Andrew Dwyer says, who are we specifically talking about? We're going to talk about David Dole, David Pakman. We're going to talk about the Cohens, Brian Tyler Cohen and Tyler Cohen, or whatever his name is. We'll be talking about, TYT. We're basically talking about BreadTube. That's what we'll be talking about. I'll get into it in a second. Lady Alex is in here saying Gene Roddenberry was a great humanist. Thank you very much. Robin says, me too. I don't think I really appreciate how demoralized I was feeling the last few years. It's nice to see just a little justice and vindication. Yes, justice and vindication indeed. Robbie Burns said, I picked 3, but 2 or 3 were relevant. Yeah, of course. Jasmine Harrell, good to see you in here. Desert Mantis, I haven't seen you in a while, but good to see you, Desert Mantis. Nice to have you in here. All right. Brian Snyder says, Bernie Sanders said it best to why Kamala Harris lost. Of course, he's getting attacked by Jamie Harrison, her campaign manager, and the entire corporate elitist so-called Democrats. Yeah. Bernie Sanders is a day late and dollar short. Let's just be real. All right. Emperor Penguin says JB Emperor. All right. So, and ACAB includes ICE says, hey, everyone, good to see you. Okay. Why are we here today? What are we talking about today? Let's get into the thumbnail so you guys know exactly what. Quote, I lost thousands of subscribers. Yikes. That tea is very hot. I don't know about you, but my subscriber count is actually going up. Why? Because I didn't sheep herd people to the Democratic Party. I didn't sheep herd anybody to the duopoly. Anyone? No, I didn't. Let's get into this, okay? So, I want to start off with some of the post-mortem analysis from some of these figures, okay? And I find it to be interesting that somebody was speaking a little bit of there being a little bit of a voice of reason here, and we'll get into that. Hush. We'll get into that really quick. So let me share my screen really quick. So this is the leftist mafia. If you guys don't know, this is an amalgamation of different leftist YouTubers that really all they did was upload clips. They didn't do any lives really until a lot of us came on the scene 3 years ago. We started doing it, like just doing lives all the time, and then we would flip the lives and then put the clips out, because they would just pre-record and then upload, right? Us, we're live all the time. And so they finally got hip to it, and then they started doing it as well, right? Because they realized, oh, wow, you can just keep doing lives, like an actual show like that. And it's like, yeah. But they actually had a postmortem. I am not reacting to this entire thing because this is a 4-hour stream. I am not doing that. I'm just doing a clip out of this. But I think it is quite indicative of what they're thinking. So let's do, wait, where is my stop point? Okay. So I just want to make sure I get to my my starting point. Nope, it's not where I want it. So sensitive. Okay. Now, Matt Bender actually has some reasonable takes here. Okay. So of course you have David Dole, Mike Figueredo. David Dole's, hosted in that Rational International. Mike Figueredo's host of Humanist Report. This is Lance Surf's Coffee. I think it's the Surf's podcast. I forget the actual name of it. My apologies. And then Matt Bender. So let's get into this, and then we shall continue.
Somebody who's apathetic and stays home. It's not somebody like that. I don't apply that to the Trump supporters. I'm sorry. I refuse to buy that. People in this country, the culture is toxic and cruel as fuck. The immigrants who hate other immigrants, it's just kind of a fuck you, I got mine mentality. I'm going to pull the ladder up behind me because that's how we all are as Americans. It's a cultural problem. We are evil people. That's what I'm saying.
No,
Okay, let's start off there first. Basically talking about immigrants pulling up the ladder behind them. Okay. Here's the issue. Some documented immigrants, some immigrants that got here I hate to put it in air quotes, but legal way, right? They went through the actual process of getting to this country and becoming citizens. A lot of them have resentment to the undocumented immigrants that are coming here illegally. I hate to use that word, but let's just keep it a bean, because they feel like they're getting here without actually having to go through the same process that they did. They had to suffer and scrape and get in here, whereas the other ones just waltz in. Now, here's the issue. A lot of those people who are coming in because they are refugees. Now, some are maybe climate refugees, some are economic refugees, some are refugees from the crime that's happening in their countries. But if you look at the source of a lot of what's going on in the countries, it could be Honduras, Guatemala, Venezuela, Cuba. It could be El Salvador, right? It could be any one of those countries in Central and South America. But the reason why they're coming isn't because they chose necessarily these governments to be who they are. It's because of the destabilization that our nation does in order to make their country so bad that they literally have to risk life and limb to come here, right? But a lot of people just don't realize that. And so they think that they're just trying to skip the line. So therefore, it's like, well, if they're trying to skip the line, then no, screw them. I'm voting for somebody that's going to kick them back out. That's what it is. You have, and here it is, blue MAGA and red MAGA. One desperate, propagandized group of people that are mad at another group of desperate, propagandized people. That's what we're looking at. This isn't anything else but that. You have blue MAGA that are mad at red MAGA. That's what it is. And the people are getting upset. And the thing is, it's like, calm down. Let me calm down. They're getting upset at the fact that there's unfairness coming from both sides. So the thing is like, Kamala Harris was never going to really truly address the immigration issue in the first place. Because what happens is these undocumented immigrants come into the country and they are used in an exploitative fashion by our corporations in order to undercut the wages of people like us. And so therefore, when we demand higher wages, they don't give us higher wages. They just hire the undocumented immigrants and then exploit them in order to make sure that they can still keep their businesses going while making more money. And then we have to beg for even lower wages and crumbs. And the thing is what a lot of people on the MAGA side, the red MAGA side and the blue MAGA side do not realize is that there are two sets of victims. There are the undocumented workers that are the victims, and there are the citizens that are being undercut that are the victims. And the problem is neither Harris nor Trump want to actually address the underlying cause of the undocumented immigrants that are pouring into the country. Because if they actually did, then that means that they would actually have to go against the corporate overlords that pay their salaries. Not pay their salaries, but put money into their coffers. That's the problem. And people are getting mad that Harris didn't win, even though Harris would not truly address the issue. And people on the MAGA side are celebrating Trump because they think Trump will actually address the issue, when in reality, he won't either. He may seem like he's going to be more tougher on immigration. He may have the bluster that he will, but he won't, because guess what? That will be undercutting his buddies in Wall Street. And you know, Harris wouldn't do it because that undercuts her buddies on Wall Street. Because if we really actually tackled the undocumented immigrant situation, we would be pulling out of all the sanctions that we're putting on these countries, the blockades. We would pull out the CIA from all what they're doing in these countries in order to make these countries destabilized. We wouldn't be challenging the election that happened in Venezuela. We wouldn't be having all these sanctions on Venezuela. We wouldn't have that blockade in Cuba. But we do, which is causing destabilization, which is causing people to suffer and have to come here. They'd rather be behind the barrel of the gun than be in front of the barrel of the gun. And that's why they're coming here. That's why they're risking their lives in order to come here. So if you really want to help out the undocumented immigrants from a humanitarian point of view, and as well as helping ourselves in an American first point of view, then you need to stop what's going on in their countries, what our government is doing. This is how you hit both sides. And guess what? A Green Party candidate by the name of Dr. Joe Stein was actually addressing that. But you guys said, oh, she can't win though. All right, so I did my spiel. Let's continue on.
I agree. People are very selfish. But that's a lot of people. Donald Trump got more of the vote in New York City than any Republican in something like 40 years or something like that. I've been looking at the districts that he won or came within points, single-digit points of winning. We're talking about districts, minority Latinos, district with minority Asian, Chinese, Korean. He won big gains with almost every minority group except for Black Americans. I mean, you can't you can't just say like this. Go back to the 2016 reasons he won and say it's the same thing. People are clearly, we could say there's a problem that people are clearly willing to look past all of the other really bad stuff if they think he's going to help their wallets and pocketbooks first and foremost. We can say that, but we can't say that. Like, we can't just pretend though that they voted for the other stuff. It's a problem that they're willing to look past it, but I can't necessarily say they voted for it. Maybe they're gonna look.
Oh. Here's the thing. All right. So as a minority, right? I wear many hats. I wear a disabled hat, I wear a LGBTQ hat, and I wear a black hat, right? Here's the thing a lot of people don't realize. Sometimes you're willing to overlook certain things in order to get something more beneficial. That's something that a lot of people aren't willing to jive within their heads. The liberals cannot get this because they are looking at it from an opaque sort of lens. When in reality, liberals were doing the exact same thing to Palestinians. I'm telling you right now, every single liberal that was like, oh my God, we need to vote for Harris to protect LGBTQ rights, to protect rights of immigrants, to protect rights, to abortion. All these different things that they were saying, right? Guess what? On the opposite side, Trump voters were saying, we need to vote for Trump we need to strengthen the border. We want to lower our taxes. We want less crime in our areas. They were doing the same thing. And the thing is, it's like, you guys were willing to either genocide was not that big of a red line for you, or racism and xenophobia was not that big of a red line for you. And you were willing to compromise for something that would benefit you personally. That's the thing. And problem is that everybody's like pointing fingers at each other going, racism is not your red line. Why are you siding with a racist? Why are you siding with a felon? And then others on the other side are going, oh, you're willing to side for somebody who's willing to commit genocide. They both got you. Look, they got y'all good. The Democrats and Republicans got y'all good. They got you guys to co-sign on xenophobia, racism, genocide, Islamophobia. Now you got black women that are going, oh, I'm going to Starbucks. I'm going to McDonald's because F you Palestinians, I don't care anymore. What? Are you kidding me? Now solidarity is conditional. Liberation, helping people with each other's liberation is now conditional. And people wonder, well, how do we get here? You're literally perpetuating it right now.
Learn their lesson after they realize just how bad it'll get, but just can't just have this large swath of people from all backgrounds voting for him and say it's because of this one thing.
Now, and also just to add another point, there's two things that Harris should have focused on, and really, to be honest with you, should have pushed Biden on in the last 3 years. The economy, and not by going by what the corporate masters want, but by going what the people want. But she didn't. And she could have said, look, things aren't doing as good as they should, but here are some real economic policies. Look, she could have put in, hey, Bernie, what are some of the economic policies that you think that will work best in order for us to have a winning strategy? But she didn't, because she's more in line with the corporations. If she had focused on the economy more, really that should have been her first and primary focus. And then her secondary focus should have been, I pledge to do an arms embargo. In fact, you know what she should have did? She should have pushed an arms embargo and a ceasefire while she was running. If she had forced an arms embargo and a ceasefire while she was running, or you know what she could have did, and this would have been massive. As of immediately, I resign as my position as Vice President of the United States because I can no longer be complicit in genocide and still keep running under the Democratic ticket. She could have dropped out of the administration, stayed as the Democratic nominee, and said, oh yeah, I'm not going to be Joe Biden's VP anymore. Do you know how massive that would have been? How many people would have came out? But she didn't, because she's complicit. And she wants to stay complicit. But she didn't do that. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I think that's. I don't disagree.
Like it's absolutely abhorrent to see what just took place, especially like considering what it's going to mean for like so many vulnerable groups that all of us in this room care about, right? That we all advocate on the behalf of, and like the revulsion at that, and that there is absolutely a percentage of people who do that kind of shit because it's a way to own or get lib tears or be like, I'm fighting wokeness by voting for a fascist, and you're like, there absolutely is. But I'm just saying, bigger picture, when you zoom out, and if we want to be able to fight against this kind of stuff, we have to recognize what is driving them. And I think it's a lot more than simply, like in the case of Hillary Clinton, that they just hated the idea of a woman president, right? Or something like that.
But Lance, we have all been saying that. I think that's why this conversation for me is sort of like a given. Like all of us since 2016 have been saying that it's the Democratic Party and their lack of a real message to working class people like that. Like the venting here about Trump's voters, I just think we're just venting. Like it's the fact that these elections are even close with this fucking lunatic, like, is insane to me.
Yeah.
So like that continues to be insane to me. It's hard.
No, David, let me tell you something. Here's the thing. You had two lunatics. Not one, two. See, that's the thing where your brain is so skewed and your brain is so, goodness. You have such binary thinking that you think that, you only have two choices. And then one choice is slightly better than the other. When no, you literally had two lunatics. One of the lunatics actually said that we will have the most lethal fighting force in the world. That's lunatic. The lunatic is the one that kept saying, well, my devotion is to Israel. My unconditional support is for Israel. You had two lunatics, not one, David. So here's the thing. Let me share this with you guys, because post-election, I want to share this as well, because David kind of checked out. And I would like to share this with you guys because we in the post-duopoly left, we knew that this was happening. We knew that this was going to come up. But it seems like a surprise for many of these guys because they automatically thought, they assumed Harris was a layup. Harris was going to win. Let's take a look. David Dole said, I have no desire to discuss this or really any news or politics anymore. Looking for work, preferably offline. Look, right there. By the way, David is Canadian. Canadian. And he's depressed over our election. Pushing our citizens to go towards Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is Donald Trump with a silk press. Why are you pushing us that direction? Donald Trump is Kamala Harris with a comb over. You know? And look at the date. 6:36 a.m. on November 6th. He was up early. He was stressed. He was pressed. Me? I was up early because I had dialysis that day. Otherwise, I would have been knocked out. But the thing is that a lot of people are now at the point where they're just like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I cannot believe our country voted Donald Trump again. When in reality, it's like, no, duh. You guys only gave them two choices between Tweedledee and Tweedledum. So, of course, if Tweedledum is doing horribly, then they're going to go back to Tweedledee. The Americans, you only give them two choices. So, of course, they're going to oscillate between one of the two, depending on their paychecks. That's how it works. A lot of times people don't realize that. A lot of times people don't think about that, because when you got it good, then guess what? You're not really going to be plugged in to the working poor. You're not going to be plugged in to the people who are doing worse. Bam. You're disconnected. Just admit it. You don't listen to the ears on the ground. You don't really know what's going on. Because quiet as it's kept, most of the people who actually voted for Trump are trying to get back to an economy that probably won't ever happen again, but they're feeling nostalgic for an economy that once was. Even though we were still suffering under that economy, it's not as bad as this economy. That's like having pain on a pain scale of 10, and you're aching for at least just a pain scale of 5. At least get me down to a 5. I'm not asking you to take all the pain away, just take it down. And that's what people voted for Trump were. I'm not saying that's all, but that's quite a bit. So that leads me to David Pakman, the other David. David Pakman lost thousands of subscribers. Why? Well, your guess is as good as mine. Let's dissect it, shall we? It's not looking good. It's not good. Not good for David. It's not good for David. He's not feeling too good about this. All right.
When I woke up this morning, we had lost 5,000 YouTube subscribers compared to where we were last night. Now, the first thing I thought was, is this a glitch? We've been on YouTube for 15 years or something like that, and subscribers always just go up. They just never go down. They go up. Is something wrong with my channel? Is someone attacking my channel? What's going on? So I started texting, and I texted Brian Tyler Cohen, and I texted Tyler Cohen and Brian Cohen and Brian Tyler, all of them. I texted all of them. I texted Jesse Dollemore. I texted Luke Beasley and Farron Cousins and Sam Cedar.
I only know like 2 names out of that list. Who? Brian, Tyler, Brian, Cohen, and Cohen? That's a lot of names that I just do not know. And then it's funny because once you start to look up these names, you'll find out, oh, this person got 1 million subs. Oh, that got 2 million subs. And you're like, how do I don't know about these people? Like, there's channels that I did not know about, and I'm finding out they got like 1 million subscribers. I'm like, what? Lord, who are these people? Okay. Anyway, let's continue.
And every single one of our channels since last night is hemorrhaging subscribers.
Hemorrhaging? Hemorrhaging. Why, David?
What is it that is going on? Here is a graphic. As you can see, subscribers just go up, 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 and they are down. It is not just YouTube subscribers. We are seeing record cancellations of paid memberships, record cancellations. These are the people that keep the show running. Now, for a moment, I thought, if it's just YouTube, maybe YouTube is purging people who are inactive subscribers. And once a year, usually YouTube does this and you see a little decline and then numbers go back up. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. And if that were the case, we wouldn't be seeing paid membership cancellations on the website. So now I understand what is going on. It's terrifying, but it is happening. A lot of people are checking out. I heard anecdotally from a couple dozen people who said, you know, David, I just can't do it anymore. I just can't do it. I'm checking out. I'm out. And the reason that this is terrifying, not only because it puts everybody in left-wing media's livelihoods at stake and at
whoa, not this nigga. Sorry. No. See, here's the thing. It puts y'all's life at risk. It puts y'all livelihoods at risk. It ain't putting my livelihood at risk. But here's the thing. I didn't do what you did. I am sorry, David, but you can talk about that. But here's the thing. As somebody that's on independent left media that is not tied to the Democratic Party, no, I am not at risk. Because here's the thing. I lead with values, not with a party. That's the difference. No, David. Because the thing is, like, you kept pushing and pushing and pushing people to the right, 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 to the right. Not people to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. Now you got kicked, got kicked, got kicked, got kicked. Now you gotta walk it by yourself, walk it by yourself. Nah, do your thing, do it. That's the problem, because you guys did that. That was all you. Look, last time I checked, RBN's still getting subscribers. I'm still getting subscribers. Nico's still getting subscribers. INN still getting subscribers. Brianna Joy Gray still getting subscribers. Glenn Greenwald still getting subscribers. That's the thing. You did it to yourself. This is a self-inflicted wound. What did Malcolm X say? Chicken's coming home to roost. So I'm sorry, but nah, bro. You stepped in it for the last few years. And guess what? Who has been saying to you that you shouldn't go this route? Oh, gosh. This is wild.
At risk. It terrifies me because our instinct is the opposite of what the right does, and we will get crushed if this is the way we respond to a defeat. The right wants us not to exist. The right wants to decimate independent progressive media. And so when I lose 5,000 subscribers and Brian loses thousands and Ring of Fire loses thousands and everybody's losing thousands of subscribers, understand that when the right loses, they get organized, they fund, and they create insanely effective organizations like Turning Point USA, investing in the Daily Wire and building out this huge network of right-wing ideas and influencers. So if you're feeling burnt out, I encourage you, take a break until the inauguration. It's months, okay? Mental health.
Here's the thing, David. You say that the right wants to win this, and you call yourself the left. Here's the issue. The Democratic Party is not the left. And you keep pushing people towards the Democratic Party. Therefore, by calculations, that means you are not David, you abandoned the workers. That's why they're walking away from you. You abandoned them, just like Harris. You abandoned them, just like Biden. You abandoned them, just like Barack. You abandoned them, just like Bill. You abandoned them, just like Hillary. That's the problem. Workers will only take so much before they check out. That's the problem. You sold them a false hope and you made lots of money off of it. And now they're done with your false hope. And now you're crying because they decided to walk away. When people find out they're being scammed, they walk away. Now it is up for you to have your come to Jesus moment. It is now up to you to switch your focus and to readjust to being more worker centric instead of staying within the Democrat elitist bubble. And that doesn't mean shifting to the right. That means actually shifting to the left, David. That's what it means. Because quiet as is kept, those of us on the left, and yes, I am far left. I am communist, okay? I am far left. I am as far left as you can get, okay? Here's the thing. We want people to actually make the money that they're supposed to make. Not from these billionaire corporations that are making money off of them over hand and fist, that are actually still paying and giving bribes to Kamala, that are sending Barack to berate us black men, that are sending Sonny Hostin to berate us black men, that are sending people like Joe Scarborough to say that we're misogynistic and they're saying that we're homophobic. By the way, I'm gay, by the way. No, the problem is that you literally are misleading workers into going into a party that does not care about them. And then you cry that your solution is no longer working. Wait, how many subs do I have? I'm like just over 4,500. I'm nowhere near the subs that you have. Nowhere near. But here's the thing. I focus on values. Values that are equal, equitable, and egalitarian for every person, especially marginalized groups. And I don't care for any particular party, especially if I see a party that says, oh, well, they're with us, but they don't do a damn thing for us. And I also reject an economic system that feigns support for us, but in reality, it throws us and our brethren around the world under the bus. And then he wants to talk about mental health. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump put us in this position.
It's months, okay? Mental health break, do it. But when we start canceling the subscriptions, we are in an algorithmic desubscription spiral right now, because when people start unsubscribing on YouTube, YouTube thinks, oh, we probably shouldn't recommend this content because it's generating a lot of unsubscribes. So then the content doesn't get recommended. And then the message doesn't get out.
But whose fault is that, David? Whose fault is that? Now you're begging the subscribers to save you, even though you didn't deliver? And when I'm saying deliver, deliver just the basic truth of what they're going through. And then you kept pushing them to a party that does not give a damn about them. So of course you're going to get some of the blame. You're getting the same blame as corporate media because in reality, let's keep it a buck. You are corporate media with an independent facade. You, Breaking Points, TYT, the leftist mafia, all y'all, you guys are corporate media with an independent facade. I'm saying it. I'm putting it out there. Look, I'm tired because here's the thing. I'm taking off my jacket because look, you guys have honestly sold a bill of goods that a lot of people just aren't jiving with no more. And this is why you're now about to go through that spiral. Because people they're becoming woke. Really woke.
The next election, they win by even more. So I do understand the instinct, but if we cede ground to them, they crush us everywhere. Now, we're up against a MAGA Supreme Court potentially till 2050. We'll talk about that later. We're up against a completely uninhibited.
He's talking about a channel, and he's talking about, well, they're going to crush us. Us who? David, you are blowing minds right now. You're talking about, oh, they're going to crush us. No, because here's the thing. We're the ones who are actually not just here in front of your TV screens, your phone screens, your tablet screens. We're actually getting out there in the streets. We're actually doing mutual aid in these streets. Look, I got my comrades who are part of the RBN Orlando chapter in the chat right now who are telling, like, look, we're actually trying to do stuff out in these streets. We're trying to get together. In fact, we got plans for this month, okay? We're literally activists and organizers literally doing stuff out in these streets, okay? We got the videos and the footage to prove it. But the thing is like, what are you doing? You're in front of a camera all day, right? So here's the thing. That's the issue that really grinds my gears. You're like, oh my God, well, the right is going to come up against us. Here's the thing. Why are you always talking about the right, but you're never talking about the corporations? You talk about the left versus the right. Baby, it's versus corporations versus the rest of us. That's basically what it is. It is the capitalists versus the proletariat. And yet you keep going left versus right, left versus right. And then people go, why are we so divided? Because they want us that way. And you keep perpetuating it. Oh, the left versus the right. The problem is really the workers versus the capitalists, the cappies. The cappies got y'all in a chokehold. Cappies got y'all, you know what I'm saying? So much so that now you're losing your heir, aka subscribers. Oh my God. I thought I'd be able to get through this in like 1 or 2 takes, but this is grueling.
Talk about that later. We're up against a completely uninhibited Trump. I actually have an entire chapter in my forthcoming book, The Echo Machine, about exactly this. It's actually
Don't leave. Now buy my book. I don't say this about people much. And I might get in trouble for this. I might just get in trouble for this. And I've been accused of this too, and I don't like it. But this is grifting. I'm sorry. That's grifting. I can't believe I used to watch this guy on a regular basis. Wow. I usually don't do streams like this, but I needed to talk about it. I had to. Let me see. Echo Machine, how right-wing extremism created a post-truth America. I can tell you, look, I can tell you the answer for that in like 2 seconds. How the right became so big is primarily because you got people like Donald Trump that are actually, he may not actually fight for the working class, but at least he's lying like he does. You know what I'm saying? Jesus Christ.
Book, The Echo Machine, about exactly this. It's the introduction. In the introduction, I explain how it's disgusting to me that when you engage in politics, you can't just find solutions. First, you've got to convince people climate change is even happening. You can't just find solutions because half the country doesn't even accept the science of vaccines. I outline this in the introduction, but I also make the point in the book that if you actually care about the world for ourselves, children, grandchildren, other people, families, friends, people we care about, when you disengage because they've gotten so extreme, you cede ground to them and you say, do whatever you want.
But the thing is, David, are they actually ceding ground because they unsubscribe from you? Unsubscribing for you doesn't mean they're ceding ground. Maybe, just maybe, they're unsubscribing from you and actually going outside and touching grass now. Maybe they're actually finding channels like ours. This one, Revolutionary Blackout Network, Savvy Savs. They're probably finding Katie Halper. They're probably finding Danny Haifong. They're probably finding Jing Ling Ling. They're probably finding many other different channels that are actually post-duopolists that actually focus on values rather than caping for a party, and they're actually being encouraged to get out in these streets and actually organize. Just because they're unsubscribing from you doesn't mean that they're checking out from actually making a better future. Maybe they just woke up and got smarter. And by the way, you keep saying right versus left when really it's the corporate masters versus the rest of us. By the way, there was a better candidate other than Kamala Harris that was in the race. David, why didn't you have Dr. Jill Stein on? I was co-press director. I saw all the emails that came through. Not one came in from you. Not one came in from Brian Tyler Cohen. I didn't see any at all. I didn't see any more from TYT. I didn't see any from Mike Figueredo. I was the press director. You went through me and one other guy in order to schedule your interviews. You never, ever emailed Dr. Jill Stein to have her on to press a viable option with values that you say you uphold. So therefore, there you go. Because you rather stick with Kamala. Even though she was owned by the corporations, just like her buddy Trump. Yes, buddy Trump, because Trump was willing to give her money when she was running in California. And if Trump was willing to give her money, what does that say about Kamala? See, that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize. Yes, Donald Trump actually donated money to Kamala Harris's campaign back in the day. Let's finish this out.
You cede ground to them and you say, do whatever you want. I'm disengaging, do whatever you want. And we really can't do that. Okay. So my request to you today is please resubscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yeah. So to anybody that's watching, that was a subscriber to David Dole, Mike Figueredo, TYT, David Pacman, Kyle Kalinske, any one of these channels. But then you got burnt out from being hoodwinked into going into a party that really does not care about us, workers. The Democratic Party does not care about LGBTQ people. The Democratic Party does not care about, they don't care about immigrants. The Democratic Party, just look at who they ran. They don't care about people who are abroad, especially people in the Middle East. They don't care about Palestinians. They sure as hell don't care about anybody who's black or brown from Africa. Because if they actually did, then they will actually push policies that will actually be more helpful for us to be able to stay in our own countries, because we really don't want to leave our homes. For those of us who are Black American, like myself, and yes, I am Black American, American descendant of slaves, because guess what? My parents go back to, my lineage goes all the way back to the Revolutionary War. Those of us who are Black Americans, the Democratic Party doesn't care about us just as much as the Republican Party doesn't care about us. For all of you who are watching them, you're welcome here. You're welcome here. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. Even if it's inconvenient for me, I'm going to keep it a buck with you, because the problem is that people will tell you that the greatest act of resistance and the greatest act of revolution that you can do is bubbling a name on a Tuesday in November every 2 to 4 years. And guess what? That doesn't do damn squat. That is a side quest, not the main quest. The main quest is you literally putting on your sneakers and getting your ass out there in the streets and actually doing shit for your neighbors, and your neighbors doing shit for you. That's what it is. And the problem is you have people that are literally holding you back from actually doing the actual work out there in the street that actually makes us dangerous in a good way. It makes people like Fannie Lou Hamer dangerous in a good way. Bobby Seale and Fred Hampton and Angela Davis and Ashada Shakur were dangerous in a good way. You need to be dangerous in a good way. You need to be doing things that help out your neighbors. You need to be doing things that help out your community in order for us to circumvent the system, in order to defeat the fascists, the people who are literally in league with people like Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. That's who we need to go with. We need to actually start looking at each other and seeing each other clear-eyed for the human beings that we are. You need to see yourself in other people. If you're a Trump voter, you need to see yourself in people who are not like you. If you're a Harris voter, you need to see yourself in people who are not like you. Because guess what? This is exactly what the corporate dictators do not want. They do not want you to see yourself in each other and then come together and go, oh man, I didn't realize this about you. And I didn't realize we were actually more of the same than we were different. Let's come together and let's fight against these guys who are exploiting us day in and day out. This is why you got people oscillating between both parties, because they're desperate. They can't afford eggs. They can't afford milk. Some of them are literally behind on their rent. It's the 9th, 4 days after your rent was due. And now a lot of them, they're freaking out because they didn't have enough money to pay their rent. And guess what? You can't give partial payments because a lot of these places don't accept partial payments. So now the eviction process has started. And guess what? It's the 4th day since the eviction process started. Guess what? Now they got sometimes orange, but a yellow letter on their door. And not only do they have to pay their rent, but they also have to pay the attorney fees and court fees in order to reverse the eviction process. You have people with late notices for their light bill, for their internet bill. You have people who are literally going to Second Harvest Food Bank and these other different coalitions that actually are giving out food. And some of these people have to be very careful because they may have different dietary restrictions because they can't get these food at certain places. Look, because I live it. This is why I don't watch you guys no more, because you guys do not speak to me. You guys don't come to where I'm at. This is why we're out here on the ground, giving out clothes, giving out food, giving out all these different things. We're trying to do mutual aid out in these streets because guess what? It's going to be us that saves us. And you guys keep pushing us to a people that don't give a damn about us. And now you got K-hivers freaking out, breaking in hives because you guys pushed a candidate that really doesn't care about them. And they got duped. K-hivers are as duped as MAGA. And you're wondering why? Like, shit is real out here. 12% increase in homelessness since 2023? This is why people are walking away. Because they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And they're tired of people lying to them. And you may think that you're actually doing something good. But David, I tell you, both Davids, Mike, Cenk, Anna, all y'all, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You need to study up on what the Black Panther Party did, and you guys need to start imitating what they did. Because if you guys do not walk away from this duopoly, if you do not readjust and reaffirm your devotion to the workers and start pushing towards a more worker-centered message, your channels are done. And also, here's the thing. What matters more to you? Does the money or the message matter? If the message matters more, act like it. If the money matters more, well, we see you for who you are. Because if the money matters more, you're no different than the oligarchs that dominate this country. What do we do? I'm glad you asked. What can we as viewers do? Here's some homework for y'all, because I think that this is the most important thing that we can do in this country. Because I said do mutual aid. I said organize. But what does that mean? I'm going to assist y'all with this because I think that's the most important. Because honestly, I love our people here in the United States. Even though some of y'all make me itch, I love y'all. Because I want America to be great, period. Not great in military power, not great in economic power. I want America to be great in the sense that everybody is happy. Everybody has joy. Everybody has all their material needs met. Everybody looks at the world with loving eyes and compassionate eyes and says, how can we help in the way that people need us to? That's what it is. So, what is mutual aid? And what types of mutual aid can we do? Shout out to Comrade Workwear for this video. I want to share this. This was brilliant. And I want this comrade on my show one day. I cannot wait. Let's go. Mutual aid all-in-one guide.
Mutual aid. Everybody's talking about it, but what is it? I'm going to give you a quick overview on the different types of mutual aid groups that exist and what might apply to you as an individual. There is food distribution mutual aid. These are community kitchens and free meal programs. It could be grocery deliveries to the elderly or to disabled folks, or food sharing programs like community fridges. There is housing and shelter mutual aid. This can be offering shelter or housing assistance to displaced individuals. It can be crowdsourcing funds for rent and utilities, or
So first of all, I want to start off with food distribution mutual aid because I wanted to make this abundantly clear. There are food distribution mutual aid groups all over this country. One of the most famous ones is called Food Not Bombs. You guys can look up foodnotbombs.org. They're a great organization that does food mutual aid, especially for the most disenfranchised and houseless, unhoused in our country. Also, another one here in Central Florida. If you're in Central Florida, look up People's Free Kitchen. They are very active on Instagram. They're also partnered with Real Orlando, which is Revolutionary Education Action League. They do awesome work on the ground. You can also look up RBN Orlando chapters. There's one in Detroit. There's one in Kansas City. There's one in Boston. And there's one here in Orlando. If you guys want to, we actually do mutual aid in that way. A lot of mutual aid that we do in Orlando isn't necessarily food distribution. We do a lot of toiletries and things like that that care for the unhoused in our communities. And we're trying to also do more like actual revolutionary education as well. But because, you know, we're a baby organization, so we're just getting our baby steps in right now. But we're doing what we can and partnering and collaborating with other mutual aid organizations on the ground too, so that we can actually build community together. And this is how you do it. When people say join organizations, these are the type of organizations that we're talking about. So I just wanted to put that out there. These are some of the organizations that exist. Let's continue. It was going into housing. So let's go.
Community kitchens and free meal program. It could be grocery deliveries to the elderly or to disabled folks, or food sharing programs like community fridges. There is housing and shelter mutual aid. This can be offering shelter or housing assistance to displaced individuals. It can be crowdsourcing funds for rent and utilities, or it can be something like organizing housing cooperatives or shared spaces. There's healthcare mutual aid. This could be distributing first aid supplies, medications, or other health-related resources. It could be offering free clinics or medical advice from volunteers like nurses or doctors, or mental health support, including therapy sessions or community-led wellness initiatives.
So David talked about mental health, but I didn't see him push mutual aid health services. If you really care about your community, you do what you can. The problem is, some people just don't dream big enough, man. Some people don't dream big enough.
There is childcare and education mutual aid. This could be community-led childcare or babysitting cooperatives, organizing educational workshops, tutoring sessions, or skill sharing. It could even be creating free school supply drives or communal homeschooling programs. Then there's financial aid and fundraising mutual aid. This is like crowdfunding for medical bills, rent, utilities, things like that. It could be about establishing community funds for like relief needs, or even small interest-free loans or grants for community members in need. There's also
So we saw a lot of this with Operation Olive Branch, where people were doing mutual aid for families in Gaza. There was also a lot of families in Congo and Sudan that were also having donations sent to them. A lot of people who are on TikTok were actually crowdfunding for families in Congo, Sudan, and Gaza as well. Some were doing it for families in Haiti. So you can also do that for families here in the United States. How many times are people or families, you know, needing mutual aid here in order to need help? Maybe, just maybe, there could be mutual aid for building a worker cooperative so that all the workers can literally own their own means of production. maybe we can crowdfund for something like that. Maybe you know a group of people who are literally trying to start their own business but want to do it in a worker cooperative type of way. Maybe, just maybe, we can actually share that information to grow more worker-owned businesses. Maybe we can work to, maybe if they want to collectively own their own houses, they can have a housing cooperative where all the tenants literally own the building together democratically. There's so many different things that we can do in order to circumvent this system. But the thing is, it's like, are we putting that information out there? I don't have 1 million subscribers, but David does.
Legal support and advocacy mutual aid. This could be offering free pro bono legal representation, assisting with bail funds for individuals in the criminal justice system, or even providing know your rights workshops for information on navigating the legal system. There's transportation mutual aid. This could be coordinating ride shares for people trying to get to work. This could be organizing bike donation programs or even repair services, or providing funds for public transit passes or car repairs. There is technology and digital support mutual aid. This could be providing donated computers, tablets, or phones, or even internet access. This could be offering tech support for setting up devices and getting access to resources. It could even be organizing digital literacy workshops to help people learn to use new technologies. Then there's skill.
So I've received this type of mutual aid from one of the comrades or Orlando chapter here in RBN. Shout out to you, Tim, actually making sure that my computer, which you're watching me on right now, actually works at an optimal level. Thanks to him for giving me that mutual aid, I'm actually able to come to you even better than I was before. That's mutual aid. That was a comrade seeing me in need. Also, you want to know other mutual aid that happened to me? All the members of RBN Orlando chapter came to help me move when I needed it most, because me and my mom were essentially getting kicked out a few months ago. And they literally helped me and my family move from one place to another. So yes, mutual aid happens. It happens to me. I've had financial mutual aid where you guys literally helped me to be able to keep my house. Not house, but apartment. You guys have done that as well.
Skill sharing and resource exchange. You could have time banks where members trade hours for access to different skills, like trading plumbing for tutoring. You could have skill sharing workshops for gardening or carpentry. You could even have tool libraries or equipment sharing programs, letting people access things for communal use. There is mental and emotional support mutual aid, things like peer support groups for mental health or substance abuse problems, providing access to therapy or mental health care, often through things like sliding scales or volunteer services, or even organizing mental health awareness workshops. There's the all-important community defense and safety programs. The Black Panthers did this particular thing very well. This could be organizing community watches and patrols, allowing us to keep our neighborhood safe and not the police, or keeping ourselves safe from the police. This could be providing physical and emotional protections for vulnerable individuals, women, LGBTQ plus folks, or immigrants. This could be even offering de-escalation training or conflict mediation services. There's harm reduction mutual aid. This could be distributing clean needles or overdose medication. It could be providing education for safer drug use or offering support for addiction recovery. There's also environmental and sustainability mutual aid, things like seed sharing programs or community gardens, setting up recycling and compost initiatives, or educating your local community on sustainable living practices. The point.
And also for the environmental sustainability, you can also get in touch with the local indigenous groups that are in your area as well in order to support them. What about water protectors, right? What about people who are trying to protest against pipelines? Could you give them some support? It may not be that you can actually physically go out there and be on the front lines with them, but do they need some water? Do they need some food? Can you bake? Can you go get some Pillsbury cookies, cut them up, put them in the oven and bake them up and then send them to them? Could you do these things in order to help them? Could you at least, use if you have a larger voice on social media, use your voice in order to be able to Let people know about what's going on locally on the ground when it comes to indigenous people and what they're trying to do on the ground, right? If there is something bad happening to a Black American that you know is absolutely wrong, are you, especially using your privilege, to let people know, hey, this ain't right. We need to come together for this community. I can't tell you how many times I'm exhausted from talking about how many times Black people are being targeted and murdered by either racist people or police. And then how many people are actually speaking up and speaking out about it and coming together? Oh, yeah. And the Dingo Amy Baby says create a bail fund. Yes, absolutely.
Understanding mutual aid here is that it is on us to save ourselves. The Democrats are not going to do it, and it is only us coming, grassroots, working class people helping each other, that are going to save our world. You need to understand that mutual aid can look a lot of different ways. And no matter what your particular skill or passion is, there is something that you can offer your community. If you're looking for organizations near you, go to comradelibrary.com. It is an interactive map that will show all of the organizations around you. You can filter through based on the type of organization you want to get involved with. And if there's one that you know about that you don't see there, there is a form to submit new organizations. So let's jump into this. Let's save each other. Let's help each other. Solidarity, comrades.
So, yeah. Shout out to Comrade Workwear. I'm going to put let me put the link to that particular video in the chat, so you guys have access to that. Because I want you to guys to be able to have access to that too. That's really important. And here's another thing I wanted to point out, because I want to make sure I make this abundantly clear as well. Also, in order to make sure that we can keep doing this mutual aid, I think it's important to also focus, and a lot of people may see this as not that important, but also ballot initiatives, so that we can do mutual aid. So it keeps those doors open for us to be able to do it without having the corporations block us from doing things like this. Also making it so that cities can't put ordinances out for us to prevent us from doing mutual aid. That's another big thing a lot of people don't talk about, is how cities, municipalities, and states will pass laws preventing mutual aid because they don't want us to come together. This is another big thing. Could you help your neighbors by helping to draft or helping to get petitions for ballot initiatives that actually uplift and uphold mutual aid practices? So then we're not sitting here having to go in the shadows to do mutual aid to help each other. We can do it out in the open. You know what I mean? Or it mitigates the damage so that we can continue to do mutual aid. That's another big thing that a lot of people aren't talking about. And that's a direct democracy way of doing it, if you can. And then you can build networks, and those networks can expand outward. But this is some of the things that it is super important for us to keep in mind. Because look, here on this channel and many other channels on the left, we want to drive you into a direction where we save us. Now, we're going to inform you about what's going on. And some of the things that we're going to inform you about are not going to be, it's not going to incite joy, to use the word, in a funny way, but it's not going to incite us with joy, but it will give us information. And sometimes the outrage that we're going to have from what goes on is going to be necessary in order to fuel us to get out in these streets and do what we can for our neighbors. It's interesting. I took what Fred Rogers said to heart as a child. Remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? He talked about being neighborly. Also, I grew up heavily religious. I was an evangelical. What did the Bible say? You must love God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, your strength. That's the first and greatest commandment. He said, second one is you must love your neighbor as yourself. So even if you are a religious person, loving your neighbor means doing mutual aid and pushing for a system that actually helps our neighbors. And if you're not religious, if you're atheist, then you must recognize that every single one of us on this planet are directly tied to one another intrinsically. And so if one helps, one hand washes the other. This is a symbiosis. This is a reciprocal type of relationship that we have. And it may not directly affect you, but it will affect you down the line. So yes, this is one of the reasons why people like David Pakman, David Dole, Mike Figueredo, I'm sure TYT is experiencing some of the same things. All these different channels are experiencing a hemorrhaging of subscribers because they're selling false hope. When in reality, the hope should be in you and not just in voting. No, actual action on the ground. But yeah. So I went longer than what I wanted. But with that being said, go ahead and give a like to the stream. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And if you're new and subscribed, thank you very much. It's deeply appreciated. Okay. I also want to say this one more thing. To my people out there that are marginalized, who are afraid of what could happen, I want you to recognize something. First of all, one of the things that some people don't realize is those of us who are poor and working poor have always been marginalized. When it comes to our abortion rights, you need money for that. When it comes to being able to afford to live in a safe area, if you're LGBTQ, we can't afford that. LGBTQ youth are overrepresented in being unhoused and on the streets. A lot of the issues that a lot of people are saying, well, oh my God, we're losing our rights. It's like, no, you're just getting into the same spot where those of us who are poor and working poor have always been. It's just happening to you now. These issues have been here. They have never went away. It's just some of y'all have had the privilege of being able to not see it. Now it is the time for you to see your neighbors for who they are, see yourself in your neighbors, and start building something that works for all of us, because it is not going to happen through the Democratic Party. Your rights were never actually solidified, because if they were, the Democratic Party would never be able to fundraise off of them. Your rights were never solidified, because if they were, then the Republican Party would never be able to fundraise off of them if they were actually codified. That's the thing. If they can dangle your rights in front of your face and say, if you don't do this for me, then this boogeyman, which is basically their coworker, is going to do horrible things to you, they're actually not fighting for you. So, and for people who say, well, our rights were constantly at risk. Let me share this with y'all. Some of y'all may have not seen this. Not all Trump supporters are racist, but they decided that racism wasn't a deal breaker. Not all Kamala supporters are pro-genocide, but they all decided that genocide wasn't a deal breaker. What's your deal breaker? Are you willing to compromise with the devil? Because if you're willing to compromise the devil, the bill always comes due. Keep that in mind. Let's go to the chat, shall we? I'm going to look to see if we have any Rumble rants, and then we shall continue. Oh, I got a commercial on Rumble. Interesting. Okay. Looks like we're good on the Rumble side. Let's go into Rockfin. Oh, and by the way, I'll be on Shane Graham's show in less than an hour or so. Yeah. All right. So let's go into here. Thank you very much, Roger. CBS News, Donald Trump made serious inroads with Bronx residents. Here's why. Ooh, interesting. All right. I will put that in the chat for our peeps. Thank you very much for that, Roger. Roger says the South Bronx is what they're talking about, the poorest jurisdiction in New York City, New York State, and possibly the country, located in a dark blue city in a navy blue state, threw their hands up and said, F it. James, always keep in mind that we have to extend these people grace, for they know not what they do. I'm not talking about these people who got on your screen, but all these people crashing out on X. You're fighting against fear because people in the state of not knowing what the future will hold. Fear comes into play when people have lost sense of power over their lives. It's our job to give them the information needed to make them realize that they have all they need to empower themselves. Matter of fact, listen to the Congresswoman from Harlem speak it. This should be interesting. Hang on. Let me share this really quick. I hope I don't get a copyright claim on this, but I'm not monetized anyway, so.
George Washington Carver, who was so
Woo, that was a speech. Even if you're not religious, right? What can you do, right? Just from a practical perspective. What are you good at? What do you know how to do? And the thing is like, that's what's your power to do it. To each according to his ability, to each according to his need. That's what we communists actually believe in. You may be somebody that's disabled, but you got a lot of knowledge up here and you're able to reason with people by typing online. Or you're great at researching things and getting that information to people so that they can be able to do the action on the ground. What's in your hand? If you don't have any hands, what's in your mind? Right? What can you use for your fellow neighbors? You don't have feet to walk? Fine. Use your powers for your community. Thanks for that, Roger. Appreciate it, bro. Let's continue. Let me see. Later for hope, we're past hope. Giving people hope is not going to do it. We have to give people power. And the power that I speak of is the power of direct democracy over our economy and government with CBIs, citizen ballot initiatives, and worker co-ops. Also, be warned, I DM you a shit ton of information to listen to while cooking after the show. All right, thank you very much. He said, what I got in my hand is a lever put in the right place and I can move mountains. What do you got, people? Thank you very much for that, Roger. We love you over here, man. All right. So let me go to the general chat. Just one of the things I wanted to go back to. Janice said they all smeared the General Strike Summit that RBN put together. Yes. So back in, what was it, 2021? 2021-ish? Yeah. We did a General Strike Summit on RBN. And these are some of the same people that scoffed at us. I think it was David Dole, that one of the people that actually scoffed at us, that said that he wanted to quit politics, scoffed at us for having a General Strike Summit. By the way, all the people who were like, oh my God, Jill Stein, she only shows up every 4 years. She was part of the General Strike Summit. She was with us. Yep. Talking about different ways in which we can do more movements and talking about general strikes. So there's that. But it is important for us to talk about different strategies in order to make our future better. Janice says, leftist mafia spent over a decade pushing divisive rhetoric to undermine class, gender, and racial solidarity. Yep. Thank you very much. And then Kate Mack says, Roger is always a fountain of information. Thank you, Roger. Exactly. Thank you very much. Let's go into the rest of the chat because I know you guys got a lot of things to say. A lot of things. I'm not trying to laugh, but here's the thing. It's one thing if a platform deplatforms you, right? I don't agree with that because, that's censorship. But when your audience cancels you, the audience has spoken. They've spoken. That's what it is. So, Jimmy says, no, Dave. Oh, gosh, you guys. Oh, my goodness. Unexcusable Penguin says, Pac-Man basically begging, who he going to plug his book to now? Please sub. I'm having a giggle fit. Oh, no. Yanis says, who feels embarrassed that somehow TYT represents leftism? They have MSM access, mainstream media access, and gets humiliated in the ideology's name. Yeah. It's pretty sad. Catterell says they stopped the video running on me. What do you mean? Hope not my video. Sila says yes, and help the next generation care about the generations before them so they can stop othering each other. Yeah. That's a really good point, Sila. Javier says Kamala is guilty of incitement of genocide. She represents the hoax. She is no better than Nazi propagandists. Let me see. Oh, I want no. I want to highlight this. Hey, wait. Okay. Vera says good and dangerous. I like that. Yeah. Thank you very much. Oh, no, Cat Terrell. I'm sorry. I'm glad you're back, though. EMK says unity. I'm going to say what Nick says. Damn your unity. Give me solidarity. I don't want your unity. Give me solidarity, man. That's what we need. But I get you, EMK. We're carrying signs now. It says, can we get 150 likes, Jaybefaunt of information? I hope I got that much. Yeah, it would be very appreciative. Did you guys take the poll? Make sure to take the poll. I'll be going to the poll in a second. You see, Brian Snyder says, JB, Kamala supporters are honestly so racist. I tried explaining some of the core reasons Kamala lost in Mary Trump's live chat the day after. I was polite and immediately booted out of the room. Liberals are actually showing who they are by being bigoted. They're no different than the people who they claim they're against. That's the sad part. I honestly do feel like they really need to self-reflect and look at themselves in the mirror. Because if liberation and if solidarity with liberation is conditional, God help us if you believe in God, or may the universe help us, because it's sad. Let me see. Nice to have you in here, Joe Schwartz. May the Schwartz be with you. Thank you very much, Tim. Yeah, that guy, he was awesome. Katie Lewis, shout out to the One Piece soundtrack. Oh, that's what that was. See, I don't really watch anime like that. But cool. I heard One Piece is very anti-capitalist or anti-imperialist in their messaging. That's what I heard. And then one of the members of the resistance fighters, one of the Houthi resistance fighters, is a huge One Piece fan. Remember that Houthi fighter that everybody was like, oh my God, he's so hot? Well, he actually was speaking to Hassan Piker, and Hassan Piker actually asked him if he was a fan of One Piece, and he said, yeah, I'm a huge One Piece fan. Interesting, right? Yes, Tim, part of Orlando RBN chapter, mutual aid chapter. Good. Brian says, that's amazing, JB. Absolutely important and vital for so many in the US. Yeah. Mutual aid is basically absolutely necessary. And Michelita, I'm going to give you your forehead kisses at the end, but forehead kiss, an extra one for you. All right. Roger. Roger. Stick and move, Roger. Mental health would be great, David, if you did not jump out of the Medicare for All fight. I mean, he did. It's like, dude. And also, when we did the March for Medicare for All back in, was it 2021? Where were you? The only person who actually mentioned it was, I cannot believe I'm blanking on his name. Kyle Kalinske. He was the one who actually mentioned it in passing, but none of you guys actually mentioned the March for Medicare for All to actually push, the Democrats. You didn't do it. Tia Wheeler says, so he's saying you're unsubscribing and canceling memberships. You need a mental health break. That's kind of elitist, isn't it? Does it sound elitist to you? Because it sounds elitist to me. And we're sick and tired of the elitism. Gosh. It just, Katie says, hilarious. He tells his audience to take a break while the terrible things continue under the Democrats until they're out of office in January. Why not push Joe Biden, since he's a lame duck president, to actually do more for people? So at least we can do something, good for us. But Joe Biden's not going to. Kamala Harris, I'll be honest with you. Can I be real with you? I honestly don't think that Joe Biden's actually running the country. I actually think that Kamala Harris is actually running the country. I think Joe Biden's being kept on as a figurehead, primarily because they want people to think that her presidency starts on, if she were to win, her presidency would start on January 20th. But in reality, I think that she has been running the country for a few months now. And Joe Biden has kind of been taking a back seat. So they didn't push the 25th Amendment. Joe Biden just said, I'm just going to, hand over some stuff. And Kamala Harris is really the one who's moving things, right? That's what it feels like to me. Like, we're already in a Harris presidency. They just don't want you to know. That's what it feels like. Sabrina B says he wants to continue to manipulate his audience. Why form a coalition with someone like him? I wish he would turn around. I wish. H. Lokil says David Pakman was the man for genocide instead of for boycott. It's sad because he could have did a lot of good with all those subscribers that he had. Chris H. says the right wing per se isn't fully the problem. Yeah. Anywho, I'm approaching 2 hours and I was trying to do 45 minutes, but you guys got me going. Casey says, I don't think these people should be able to be called left. They're just Democrats. Democrats are a right-wing party. Jay Moore Boston says, peace, love, and live long and prosper. Thank you very much, Jay Moore. Roger says, Congressman Adam Clayton Powell Jr., the first Black congressman sent to Congress. The man is a legend. He was part of a small circle going in Harlem at the time between Bumpy Johnson, Malcolm X, and himself. Interesting. Sela says, JB, there's a movement getting started next week to demand from the current Democratic president to free all death row prisoners before Trump gets into office. We'll provide more information next week. I'm going to put my email in the chat so you can email me when that happens. Let me know when that happens so I can highlight it. Thank you very much, Sela. Because, yeah. But here's the thing. Even though I want this to happen, and I applaud it, and I will highlight it, do I have hope that it will happen? Knowing Joe Biden, knowing Kamala Harris, knowing what happened to Marcellus Khalifa Williams, I'm doubtful. But you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So take that shot, Sela. Take that shot. All right. So I'm about to head out because I got to get ready for this interview. Well, stream that I'll be doing in about half an hour. But I hope you guys are doing good today, you know, because even though the election turned out the way it did, this does not weaken or, you know, depress me, because my resolve is always to do, you know, organizing on the ground. And even if in somehow, some way, a miracle happened and Jill Stein were to get, you know, most of the plurality of electoral college votes and she would be named the winner, this would still be happening. The organizing would still be happening because we would have to push Jill Stein. See what I mean? It would not stop. We would have to push the system. You have to push the end of the empire. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we got a friendly in the White House, but we still don't have a friendly in the House and the Senate. We still don't have a friendly in the Supreme Court. See what I mean? We would still have to keep pushing. We would still have to keep fighting. It would not end. So that's a whole nother thing. Oh, thank you, Traveler's Wolf. Thank you. So with that being said, I wasn't going to go live today, but I needed to. But I will continue in my readings. Yes, I do readings on this channel, so you guys know we get informed together. So I'll be continuing to reading in Presidential, Black America and the Presidents by Margaret Kimberly. We'll continue in that. Also, I'll continue the reading of The Will to Change, Men, Masculinity, and Love by Bell Hooks. We will continue in that. If you're new to the channel, I do these readings. And then of Water and the Spirit, Ritual Magic and the Initiation in the Life of an African Shaman by Melodoma Patrice Somé. We will continue in these books when I officially get back. Oh, gosh. Watch me try to do a stream on Tuesday because I just can't resist coming in front of you guys. But I love, you know, I love being able to inform and helping to inspire, but that's just me. So, yeah. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Jay. Don't tell me this because I don't want to have to make another rolling video. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Because if Roland gonna hate me, I'm gonna hurt his feelings. All right, y'all. Let me let me go. Let me check. Let me check this poll. All right. Did you guys take the poll? Please make sure to take the poll. I'm about to show the poll right now. I'm about to be a poll dancer for y'all. All right. So, oh my God, why in the hell did you guys watch this channel? Welcome to the channel, by the way, if you're brand new. Nice to have you. All right. So, out of 214 votes, why do you think they lost subscribers? 2% said a YouTube glitch. 62%, almost 2/3, said they misled their voters. 27%, a quarter, said viewers checked out or gave up. And then 8% were just like, homie, I'm not sure. Well. I mean, that 3/4, man. I'm sorry, that 2/3, they were like, yeah, y'all were misleading. And yeah, people saw them for what they were. It's sad, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way the Fig Newton crumbles, baby. But anyways, I'm going to head on out because I got to go. But look, like I always say, oh, by the way, shout out to patrons. Got to make sure I do that. All right. I just want to give a shout out to all the patrons on Patreon, because without you guys, I would not be able to do this work. Because you guys make it, the lights stay on. You guys make this possible. So here are the tiers. Thank you so very much to all the patrons on Patreon. We have Mega Jaybefaunters, Super Duper Jaybefaunters, Super Jaybefaunters, Jaybefaunters, Comrade, Solidarity, and JB members. And shout out to new members, David Schlesinger and Yellow Boy Rick Lee. Thank you so very much for being patrons on Patreon. Without you guys, I would not be able to do this work. And you guys make all of this possible. And by the way, in addition to and furthermore, just to let you guys know, my channel is demonetized. So if you like to support the channel, you can support via Patreon or PayPal. And it's deeply appreciated very much. Thank you. Now, with that being said, I'm going to head on out. Take care, everybody. Look, I will see you guys probably in about a week or so. I'm going to take some time off because this election is exhausting. But water your plants. Water yourselves. Leave the world better than you found it. Smoke them if you got them. Drink them if you got them. If you ain't got them, then watch something funny, because joy is revolutionary. I love you guys for watching, and you guys take care. Have a beautiful Saturday evening. I'll see you guys on Shane Graham's show a little bit later today. I'll share the link in the Twitter chat. All right. Mwah. Forehead kisses to every single one of y'all. That's the way I roll. Deuces, Bruces. Thank you so very much for watching my channel, and I deeply appreciate it from the top and bottom of my heart. If you wish to support the channel further, so I can keep bringing you content that is educational and informative, you can become a patron on patreon.com/Jaybefaunt. You can find that link in the pinned comment or in the description below. No matter what you give, you'll be supporting independent media and education that helps make the world better. Thank you so much, and you can watch more of my content here. Mwah. Forehead kisses, and have a beautiful day.